You wake up, go about your day, think your thoughts, and feel your emotions. Everything seems normal. But here's a question: who is actually experiencing all of this? If your mind is constantly generating thoughts, worries, and judgments, who is the one listening? Most people never question this. They assume the voice in their head is them. But is it? The moment you start investigating, something strange happens. Most believe they control their minds. But if that were true, why does the mind often feel like it controls us? Have you noticed that you don't choose your thoughts? They just appear. Some familiar, some random, some unwanted. You don't decide, I'll think about this next. It happens automatically. Sometimes, it feels like your mind is your worst enemy. You want to focus, but thoughts distract you. You want to be happy, but doubts creep in. You want to sleep, but your brain won't shut off. So, if you are truly in control, why does this happen? Why can't you simply decide to be calm, peaceful, and happy at all times? Because the you think you are isn't actually you. Most people live trapped in their thoughts, believing them to be real. But thoughts are not reality. They're just stories, narratives shaping how we feel, react, and see ourselves. Yet, we treat them as truth. Let's test this. Imagine sitting in a quiet room. Nothing is happening. Everything is still. But suddenly, a thought pops up. What if I mess up? Nothing actually happened. But instantly, you feel stress. Your heartbeat might speed up. Did that thought predict the future? Did it change reality? Did it deserve the reaction it triggered? Yet, it controlled you because you believed it. That's how powerful thoughts are. But what if you could see them for what they really are? Just passing clouds in the sky. Just noise in the background. Just stories that only have power if you listen. Most people suffer not because of reality, but because of the stories their minds tell them about reality. If a stranger looks at you funny, your mind might say, they think I'm weird. I must have done something wrong. People don't like me. But is any of that true? Maybe they were lost in thought. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they didn't even notice you. Yet, because you believed the story your mind created, you felt bad. The mind is like an overprotective friend, constantly preparing you for worst-case scenarios. But in doing so, it often creates problems that don't even exist. The more we buy into these stories, the more trapped we become. So, what's the way out? It starts with realizing you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. As you listen to this, there's a voice in your head commenting on everything. That voice is not you. You are the one listening to it. Once you recognize this, you gain something most people don't have: choice. The choice to ignore thoughts that bring you down. The choice to let go of narratives that don't serve you. The choice to stop living inside your mind and start living in the present. Because life isn't happening in your thoughts. Life is happening right now. The illusion doesn't break just because you notice it once. It keeps pulling you back in. Why? Because your mind has been running on autopilot for years. The patterns, the reactions, the endless loops, they've been reinforced over and over. Even when you start seeing thoughts for what they are, they don't just stop. They keep coming. They keep trying to pull you back. They keep whispering, convincing, seducing you into believing them again. This is where most people fall back into the trap. They think, I get it now. Thoughts aren't me. But then, a bad day comes. An old memory resurfaces. A worry about the future creeps in. Suddenly, they're pulled back into identification. They forget. They believe the thoughts again. They feel consumed by emotions again. They act as if they never saw through it in the first place. That's why waking up from the illusion isn't a one-time thing. It's a practice, a constant remembering. Most think self-awareness is something you achieve. But real self-awareness is a habit. It's the ability to catch yourself over and over. Not just once. Not just when things are easy. But even in the hardest moments. Because when you can notice the illusion in real time, that's when you start living differently. Not controlled by emotions. Not trapped in unnecessary suffering. not stuck in an endless cycle of reacting. Instead, you move through life with clarity. And that clarity changes everything. If thoughts are just patterns, if emotions are just energy moving through you, if reactions are just conditioned habits, then what is actually real? Who is the one behind all of this? Something is still here. Something is watching the thoughts, but isn't the thoughts. Something is feeling emotions, but isn't the emotions. Something is experiencing life, but isn't defined by any single experience. That something is you, not the voice in your head, not the personality you've built, not the roles you play, but the awareness that is simply here, watching, the presence behind it all. The moment you realize this, not just as an idea, but as an experience, you become untouchable. Thoughts still come, but you don't chase them. Emotions still rise, but you don't drown in them. Problems still appear, but you don't lose yourself in stress. You see them for what they are, just passing clouds in the sky. And the real you are the sky itself. This is where real freedom begins. Not by controlling thoughts, not by forcing yourself to be positive, not by fighting emotions, but by stepping outside the entire game. Because once you know the game is just a game, you stop taking it so seriously. That's when life becomes effortless. That's when you move with flow instead of against it. That's when you stop being dragged by every thought, every mood, every small inconvenience. Instead, you observe. You navigate life from a place of deep presence. And when you do that, nothing can shake you anymore. Most people don't realize this, but you've been hypnotized since birth. Not in a dramatic sci-fi way, but in the sense that your perception of reality has been shaped by layers of conditioning. Your name, nationality, beliefs, ideas of success and happiness, all given to you. And you absorb them until they became the default lens through which you see everything. Now, here's the real mind bender. The person you think you are, the one that reacts, chases, fears, holds onto identity that's not actually you. That's the constructed version of you. The one shaped by experiences, culture, education, and expectations. It's the mask you wear without realizing it. And the real you? It's the one watching it all. Once you stop believing the noise, you stop being dragged by emotions. You stop being trapped in overthinking. You stop being a slave to the mind's endless chatter. Instead, you just see it, like background music in a cafe. It's there, but it doesn't control you. And in that space, freedom. The freedom to move through life with clarity. The freedom to feel without drowning. The freedom to think without spiraling. The freedom to exist without being consumed. And when you live from that space, nothing can shake you anymore.